All right, what is going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host, Michael Darcy, as always, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by my friend Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com, and we're going to preview the Kansas City Chiefs' upcoming matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Championship game. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, your Kansas City Chiefs host the Cincinnati Bengals at Arrowhead Stadium this Sunday in the AFC Championship game. This is the Chiefs' fourth straight AFC Championship game that they're playing in. This game is obviously going to be at home. And Josh, we have suffered through a lot of bad Chiefs football. And the fact that I just said that the Chiefs are going to be playing in their fourth straight AFC Championship game, it's absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense. But we're witnessing the golden age of Chiefs football right now, and we just kind of have to enjoy it. So Josh, what are your thoughts about this game, and how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. You want to know why, Michael?
I do.
Well, I tweeted this out earlier on my personal. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm going to this game. I'm going to be at the AFC Championship.
Whoa! I did not get that.
Yep, I'm going. I just realized today that I had the opportunity to go, so I am heading to Kansas City this weekend. I will be in attendance for the game, and it's awesome because I've never been to a playoff game, let alone an AFC Championship. So, getting to go there and potentially being able to see the trophy presentation and watching the Chiefs live clinch a Super Bowl berth, I'm super excited, and I'm feeling really good about this game.
That's incredible. I had absolutely no idea, but since you're coming to Kansas City, we might have to get you in studio. That might have to be a thing we do after. Maybe we can get Lucas on and just rehash, hopefully, a Chiefs victory. Wow, I'm really happy for you. I had no clue, but that's going to make this game even more interesting. And I think the Chiefs are coming into this game as 7 or 7.5 point favorites. Not that that really matters, but the Chiefs are heavy favorites to win this game. And I think it's because, quite frankly, they're just a better football team than the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals are good. They got a good young core with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and some pretty good weapons to go alongside of them with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Not forgetting to mention Joe Mixon, who's been pretty good as a running back. But I think that when you look at this game and you look at the piece-by-piece comparison, the Chiefs are better in almost every single aspect. They got a better coach. Andy Reid's significantly better than Zach Taylor. They got the quarterback, regardless of what ESPN has to say. They've got the better receiver. Tyreek Hill's better than Jamar Chase at this point. The tight end is not even close. Travis Kelce is significantly better than CJ Uzomah. And I think defensively, they're pretty comparable. And I would honestly say the Chiefs have a better defense, at least right now, than the Bengals do. So what are your thoughts on the matchups in this game, and does that favor the Chiefs in your opinion?
Yeah, I think the matchups favor the Chiefs. I think they win most of them. One of the biggest disparities between these two teams that stands out to me is the trenches. The Chiefs' offensive line, we've seen how they've gelled towards the end of the year here. They're playing fantastic football right now. And the Bengals D-line is going to be without Ogunjobi, who they had the last time these two teams played. He is an integral part of that Bengals D-line. He's out for the year. And then the defensive line, I think, going up against the Bengals offensive line is the most lopsided matchup in this game.
I forgot to even mention that one.
Yeah, that Bengals offensive line is bad. They've allowed, I think, the most sacks this year. And the Chiefs' defensive line is no slouch, especially with the addition of Melvin Ingram.
Oh, yeah. And I think, because I just got done off a podcast with Blake Schneiders, and I think he mentioned that the Bengals' offensive line gave up 52 sacks this year. I could be getting that wrong, but the point is they've given up a lot of sacks. And last week against the Titans, they let Joe Burrow get sacked 9 times. Now, I will say some of those sacks were on him. He just didn't get the ball out of his hands. But we saw way too many times in which he just had no time to throw. And against this Chiefs defensive line, that's a recipe for disaster. They're not world beaters, the Chiefs defensive line, but Chris Jones is the second best interior defensive lineman in football. Frank Clark is going to at least be able to do something against really backups. And I think that Melvin Ingram is going to be a pretty big factor in this game. And I think when you kind of combine all of those guys, this defensive line is good enough to sack Joe Burrow 4 or 5 times. I think they can sack Joe Burrow at least a handful of times. And with the way this Chiefs offense is playing, that's all you need. Like, Joe Burrow cannot afford to get sacked 9 times in this game if they want to have any chance to win. Like, that's just, it's not possible for that to happen again. It took a game-winning field goal against the Titans. It took Ryan Tannehill throwing 3 interceptions. That's not going to happen in this game.
Yeah, and I don't think the Chiefs are going to get 9 sacks in this game.
I don't either.
But if they get 4 or 5, maybe 6, things are going to shape up really well for them because they're too good of a team for the Bengals to overcome that. The Chiefs are going to capitalize on their opportunities in this game. Patrick Mahomes is playing at a level like we've never really seen. There's playoff Patrick Mahomes, and we've seen him before, but I think this version is one that, quite frankly, we haven't really seen. I mean, people just they don't realize how great Mahomes is playing right now. Even the national media, Chiefs fans even, I think, aren't even realizing just how great Mahomes has been. I mean, 5 straight touchdown drives against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then he did what he did against Buffalo, a damn near perfect game in the 13-second drive. I mean, he is playing with his hair on fire. And if he plays anywhere close to how he did against Buffalo and Pittsburgh, I struggle to see the Bengals keeping up with that. I do think the Bengals will score some points in this game, but I think they've been kind of slowed down in the postseason. They weren't too hot against the Raiders, and the Raiders are a very weak playoff opponent, although I think they deserve to be in the playoffs. They were definitely a weaker team. And then against Tennessee, I mean, Tennessee's defensive front is good, yeah, but their pass defense was horrid all year. Bengals only mustered 19 points in that game.
Yeah, their offense, I don't think their offense is that good right now. They've shown the ability to obviously put up points. They put up 34 on the Chiefs. But going back to that Week 17 game, a lot of stuff had to happen for the Bengals to win that game. A lot of really poor coaching decisions, all-out blitzing on 3rd and 27, some decision-making in the end of the game where you could have just let them score and get the ball back. They elected to not do that, and the Bengals really got fortunate with kind of the series of events that transpired, and I don't think that's going to happen in this game, but you said it. Patrick Mahomes is playing some of the best football we've ever seen. This is the best Patrick Mahomes that we have seen. The offense is averaging 42 points per game in the playoffs. They dropped 42 in back-to-back games. And right now, we were talking about, Patrick Mahomes is going to have an over-my-dead-body game against the Bills. He's having an over-my-dead-body kind of playoffs right now. And I don't think that the Bengals, of all teams, are going to be the ones to knock him off at home. That's just not going to happen.
No, yeah, I agree. When the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in 2019, there was a point where you just kind of felt like they were a team of destiny.
Yeah.
Because of how things broke their way and the way they played in the divisional round and then the AFC Championship. Now, there were individual points in that run where I'm like, oh, man, things are not looking good. Like when they were down 24-0 or when they were down in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. But looking back, there was always signs that team was a team of destiny. And I kind of get that same feeling this year. There's just an aura about this team that they will not lose and they will not go down. And Patrick Mahomes is playing better than ever. I think this Chiefs team is more talented than the one that won the Super Bowl in 2019. Yeah. And I think they're head and shoulders above the rest of the competition that is left in the playoffs, unlike 2019. The Rams are going to be a challenge, sure, if they make it. The Niners are a tough team, but they're not nearly as good as that Niners team the Chiefs faced in the 2019 Super Bowl. Now, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here because the Chiefs have not won this game yet. But you get my point. What I'm trying to say is that the Chiefs have just played so well. They've made some miraculous comebacks already, including in the Buffalo game. And I just don't see the Bengals stopping them at home with a chance to go to a 3rd straight Super Bowl. The Bengals are a young team. I heard you say it in your video today with Ace, and you're like, it kind of feels like they're a year early, and it's great that they've made it in here and everything, but, I just don't see them dethroning the Chiefs. I mean, it's just with the way that they're playing, it would be foolish to pick the Bengals.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are a really good football team. And like I said, like you told me, they're a year ahead of schedule. Like next year, they could legitimately be a Super Bowl threat. I think that right now, though, they need to understand that this Chiefs team is playing at a level in which we haven't seen in a long time, if ever. Like Patrick Mahomes right now is playing football that I would argue we've never seen before from any quarterback, not just Patrick Mahomes. And I'm a big believer in adversity. I think that whatever team can overcome the most adversity, they're going to have a really good shot to win it all. The Chiefs have had to overcome adversity at every single step of the season this year. They were 3-4 at one point. They had to crawl all the way back. They rattled off like 8 or 9 straight wins. They ended up falling to the Bengals in Week 17. But they picked themselves up, and right now, they have a chance to get revenge against the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl. And if you look at it, you know, the Chiefs were on a revenge tour with the Buffalo Bills. They were able to get the better of them in one of the most improbable wins we've probably ever seen. And I think that coming off of that kind of win, I have no reason to think the Bills are going to win this game. And I think that, you know, if the Chiefs would have won this game against Buffalo last week, if they would have been, you know, a little less convincing, I would say, okay, the Bengals have a much better shot in this game than we're giving them credit for. But the fact that you won this game with 13 seconds left, you tied the game, you went into overtime, and Travis Kelce had a toe-tap touchdown, and you won in walk-off fashion to get to the AFC Championship game, it's almost just like the momentum this team has right now. It's just unbelievable, and I'm not going to pick against them.
Yeah, the Chiefs are just a better team than the Bengals. And I know that's kind of oversimplifying it, but they're better than the Bengals. It took everything, and I mean everything, going right for them in that regular season game for them to win. I mean, Jamar Chase had 260 yards. The refs bailed them out on 3 straight third downs. And then the Chiefs also, they had the Tyreek Hill drop right before halftime, I believe, that would have got them a touchdown, really. And then there was the Byron Pringle kick return that also got called back. You know, that's 14 points off the board right there. If they just don't make the same mistake they made with Jamar Chase in this game, they will run away with it. And Spags doesn't need to blitz as much in this game as he likes to. I know Spags likes to blitz. There's just no reason to do it in this game. The Chiefs' defensive line was doing good against the Bengals in that other game, and he just unnecessarily blitzed, and you just don't need that. And if he does blitz, I would maybe bring a defensive back off the edge or blitz one of our linebackers, send Nick Bolton up there and see if he can maybe get to Joe Burrow. But trust your defensive line and drop you guys back in coverage and contain Jamar Chase. Dare anyone else to beat you. I think that's the game plan.
Exactly. I've been on this from the very beginning. Don't let Jamar Chase beat you. I'd obviously be upset if T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd went off, but let those guys beat you. Do not let Jamar Chase have 250 yards in this game and 4 touchdowns. That is not a recipe for success. Don't let that happen, and you have a good chance to win this game. And I'm really under the impression that you could hold Jamar Chase to 150 yards receiving, and you'd still have a great chance of winning this game. Like, that's how good I think Jamar is, and I also think that, you know, if the Chiefs can just hold him back from having one of those all-time great games, they're going to win. Like, the Chiefs have a better almost everything. Offensive line, defensive line, secondary, which is going to get Tyrann Mathieu back from concussion protocol. I think that's a pretty big addition. I think when you look at every single phase of this game, the Chiefs have the advantage. And I'm not always saying that the best team wins, because sometimes the best team doesn't win. But if the Chiefs come out and they don't turn the ball over, which they haven't done in the entire playoffs outside of the first game, and really on the first quarter, like they haven't turned the ball over since then, I do not think the Bengals can go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs and win this game. And if the Bengals want to have any shot to win this game whatsoever, they're going to have to drop 30 points. They might have to drop like 38 points to win this game, because the Chiefs right now are playing at a level on offense that is almost unbeatable. And we kind of saw in that last game, you know, defense does matter to an extent, but when 15 has the ball in his hands, it really doesn't matter, because they're going to go down the field and score. Like, that's kind of what we saw in the last game. And I think that the Bengals defense is significantly worse than the number one scoring defense in the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, you mentioned him just a second ago. That's my number one reason for Chiefs fans to be optimistic in this game is because you have Patrick Mahomes. And I said to you at the beginning of the postseason, I've repeated it basically in our preview for every game. The team with the better quarterback wins 90% of the time.
Yep.
And the Chiefs have the better quarterback pretty much 100% of the time in all these playoff matchups. And for that reason, Chiefs fans can be confident that they're going to win this game because they have Patrick Mahomes. And the Patrick Mahomes factor means more than it ever has in the playoffs because he is playing like tomorrow is not promised. I mean, it's just amazing what he's doing.
When it's the entire team, it's almost like they wait for the playoffs to turn it on. And that's something that the Bengals haven't seen yet. Like the Bengals, they don't have experience, and specifically in this game. The Chiefs have been to this game. This is their fourth year in a row. Like they've hosted this game at home in front of the best fans in the world for the past 4 years. They've been in this moment. They're not scared of the Bengals by any means. And at the end of the day, this is just business as usual. The Chiefs have been here. They've won this game over and over again. And I think that they know what it takes. The Bengals, they don't yet. And the Chiefs, it took them a year to kind of get it under control because the Patriots came into our house and beat us. But after that, the Chiefs have figured it out, and they haven't lost in the AFC Championship game.
Well, and this is going to be at home, too. They're hosting, and that last Bengals game was on the road, and I think the Arrowhead advantage is serious, and the defense is going to feed off the energy of the crowd, and the Chiefs are going to run away with this game. And also, I know that Joe Burrow had some comments earlier this season about how SEC stadiums are louder than some NFL stadiums. Well, Arrowhead Stadium is the loudest in the world. They hold the world record, and Joe Burrow can act like that doesn't faze him, but there was a clip of the Bengals practicing in their stadium with the speakers on full blast with artificial crowd noise. Something tells me that if they weren't concerned about the crowd noise, that they wouldn't be practicing with artificial crowd noise. Like something tells me that it's something that they're somewhat concerned about. They think that it might throw them off because it's not like NFL teams practice all the time with artificial crowd noise. Like sometimes they do, or maybe in camp, but that's not something that you typically do at practice.
And I don't think it matters. Cool, you have artificial crowd noise. Arrowhead is a completely different monster. And I think Joe Burrow's going to find that out the hard way on Sunday. Like at the end of the day, the Chiefs wait every single year for this kind of game. They are going to show up. They're going to play this game to the best of their capabilities. They're going to leave it all out on the football field. And if they do that, they will win this game. They're not overlooking the Bengals. They're not already planning the Super Bowl quite yet. They know the magnitude of this game. They know what they have to do, and they're going to go out there and execute. And I really think that this is the best Chiefs team we have ever seen. And I said this before the season started, and I looked very stupid about 7 weeks into the season. But right now, this Chiefs team looks like the most dangerous we've ever seen. Defensively, although they didn't show it in the last 2 minutes against Buffalo, they played pretty well against Buffalo in the first 3.5 quarters. And I think offensively, we've talked about it over and over and over again. Patrick Mahomes is playing at the best level we've ever seen. Travis Kelce looks damn near unstoppable. Tyreek Hill, fastest man alive. They do not have the defensive capabilities to stop this offense, and that reason alone is why I'm not concerned. But if you add in the fact that it's at home, if you add in the fact that you have the coaching advantage, Andy Reid, I swear, Andy Reid has probably not slept this week. He's probably drawn up plays right now at Arrowhead as we speak. This dude is so excited to play in these games, and he's always going to have something drawn up. Now, I hope it's not a Blake Bell option pass to Jerick McKinnon, but I think that he's going to have his team prepared, and they're going to go out there and they're going to win this game. I really don't have any doubts in my mind.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm fully confident in the Chiefs. This just feels like their year. This feels like it's their game. They know the situation. They have experience in these type of games. The Bengals aren't quite as experienced, and I think just everything is going for them. It's at home. Patrick Mahomes is playing amazing. The defense is getting Tyrann Mathieu back, and he can play that robber role so the Bengals don't get plays all over the middle of the field like the Bills did. Just everything seems to be pointing towards the Chiefs in this game. Unless you ask ESPN, they're going to tell you that the Bengals have the better quarterback, but we don't care about that.
Let them hate. At this point, it's almost benefiting the Chiefs more because they're doubting them. I don't know how you do, but go ahead.
It really is foolish that they had the audacity to say Burrow was better than Mahomes heading into this game after what we just saw. Like, if that performance against Buffalo doesn't do it for you, then, like, what is? It's silly to me.
You might never see another quarterback performance like that. Like, what he was able to do in both running the football, throwing the football, man, that was just such an unbelievable game. And I think the momentum of that win can carry them past the Bengals. Like, I think we don't really talk enough about how much momentum plays in these games. That was arguably the biggest momentum booster in Chiefs history. That was for sure one of the best games in Chiefs history. And I just think that, kind of like in overtime, you're going to have the guys come together and they're going to come to the common agreement that we are not going to lose this game. We are going to die on this football field if we have to. And I don't know if Joe Burrow is willing to die out there. I don't know if Jamar Chase is willing to die out there.
He might die out there if he gets sacked 9 times again.
He might physically die out there for sure. But I don't know if he can leave it all out there. And even if he does, I don't know if him leaving it all out there is good enough to beat Patrick Mahomes. It isn't good enough to beat Patrick Mahomes. Because the only team that can beat the Chiefs when they're playing their best is themselves. And I guess they wouldn't be playing their best. That's the only team that concerns me is themselves. And luckily, I don't think they're going to be playing themselves this week.
No, I think everything is there for them. The Chiefs, they're a team they've almost kind of become the Patriots, and actually in more ways than one, too. Not just like with the success and everything, but it almost seems like everyone is rooting against them. And I definitely noticed that more than ever this postseason, is that everyone seems to be rooting against them. And at the same time, everyone tries to prop up their opponent, thus making the Chiefs feel like underdogs, which only fuels them. So keep it going, I guess. But, yeah, no, I mean, I think this is kind of like the Chiefs when they were younger and they would go up against, like, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in a big game. And it's like, yeah, they're a good team. They're a talented team, but you're not beating Brady and Belichick. The Bengals are not beating Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Like, Burrow and Zach Taylor, nice young quarterback-coach combination. You're not beating Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes at home in the AFC Championship.
In the biggest game that the Bengals have ever played in, it's not going to happen. The Chiefs are going to win this game. I'm confident saying that because everything that we've seen in the postseason would indicate that would be the result. And I think at the end of the day, in Patrick Mahomes we trust. Like at the end of the day, this dude is playing at a level in which I don't know if we've ever seen before. And I just think he is such a special player that if your defense can just do enough and pull their weight, if the offense can just play half of what they did against the Bills, they will win this game. And if they play the level that they did last week, they will run away with this game. And I think this is the Chiefs team that is going to go back to the Super Bowl and have a chance to avenge last year's loss. And that's something that if you would have asked us in Week 7, we would have thought you're crazy, but that just shows you how resilient this Chiefs team is. And right now, they look like they are the best team. They are the best team in the playoffs remaining. And I think they're one of the best teams in Chiefs history. So, Josh, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Do you have any closing thoughts about this game?
No, not really. I think we pretty much hit everything. I got the Chiefs winning this game, though, if you wanted a prediction.
Yeah, let's get into the predictions, because I gave my predictions in a previous video. I had 38-28 Chiefs, with them getting a few garbage time touchdowns. I just think the Chiefs are going to get up in this game, and they're just going to coast.
Yeah, I'm going to go 35-23 Chiefs. I think they have a good cushion against the Bengals for most of the game, and the Bengals just can't quite ever pass them up. They're going to run out of gas, and no panic at the end. Chiefs win this one pretty comfortably.
Couldn't agree more. And we both have the Kansas City Chiefs going to Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. And if that is able to happen, we're witnessing history, guys. Like, what we are seeing the Chiefs do is something that no other team has been able to accomplish, and it's really special. So, Josh, I really do appreciate you coming on. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. And you can find me on Twitter at ShowMeFB for Show Me Football. And then I am also here on YouTube with Michael. You can find me by simply typing in my name, Josh Fan.
You guys can follow me on Instagram. That is KC_Sports Report. And Twitter is at KC Sports Report. Hopefully, since Josh is going to be in Kansas City, we can get him into the studio and record something. I think that'd be really fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, but until Sunday, go Chiefs, and hopefully we'll be recapping a Kansas City Chiefs win. And with that being said, guys, have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.